Couch of Thrones, yeah, Couch of Thrones.
Welcome everybody to Couch of Thrones. This is the Iron Couch.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Seven blessings.
Seven blessings to you. We hope you're enjoying Dornish red. Or did the Dornish people have a white as well, or is it always red?
I've only ever seen them drink dark drinks.
Yeah, brown. They're only into the brown.
They're
and
the hot and brown.
That's right. Hot and brown.
Hot and brown.
That's the That should be their.
Well, that's what the food is in Flea Bottom.
In Flea Bottom, the hot brown. Yeah.
Hot and brown.
Hot and brown. This episode's already off to a great start. Welcome. So this is the show where we talk about Game of Thrones and we talk about through the standings in our league. So we're all in a league. I'm Melissa.
I'm Trevor.
I'm Wendy.
Chris.
And so thanks for joining us. During the show, you can comment, you can like, you can share. Let us know what you're thinking. We'll ask you questions too and interact. We're going to talk all about it. Now this week, the standings got really shaken up.
They really did.
Things went bonkers. So let's say that the meteoric rise to the top this week, the award for meteoric rise to the top goes to Christopher Bond.
Like a phoenix from the ashes.
From like under
Started on the bottom.
Under the ashes.
They burned
Now we're
it,
here.
dug it out, buried it.
Yeah.
I think I believe it.
Yeah. Chris, you were for
did
a while
well
you were
this
at the
week.
bottom, then you had made it to second last standing. Yeah, you had a good week last week.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been talking about it. Well, you guys have been mentioning it since the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
That I was a piece of garbage, and I thought the rules were different, I thought it was a death pool. And I'm like, Olenna, she gonna die. First pick. Why is this guy taking Jon Snow? And didn't? Anyway, I'm taking Olenna. And then Trevor's like, dude, are you picking the wrong? Like, do you know?
I was like in a doctor's office, and you were like, "Why did you pick Danny? What is going on?
What is going on? I'm confused.
It's not a death league, dude.
Like,
There's
ah!
points for everything."
Yeah. So for my first overall pick to be Olenna, hey,
Yeah.
it's nice to get noticed.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah,
guys.
man.
It was nice when I just moved out of like the absolute toilet seat.
Right.
And I was happy with 5. I was like, it feels good. But 2, woo, looks nice.
Who was your
Second
big,
place.
Who was your
Second
big
place.
character this week?
It was Beric. Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah.
And every
Yeah.
time that he turned that sword on, magic points.
Magic
So,
points every time.
It's great.
And they
Beric lit up that
they
sword.
kept leaving that scene and coming back to that scene to
But he
light
kept
up
doing that thing
sword.
with a whoosh. He did that a few times.
He also used the fire in multiple ways. So he like cauterized wounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And
Points.
he's like points for every
Burned corpses.
burned
Points.
corpses.
Burned that polar bear.
Yeah.
Burned polar bear.
Points.
But didn't use it to keep his friend warm enough to live.
Yeah.
So the voice you're hearing off camera is Matt Campagna, who you've seen on the show before, who's part of our league. Now Matt is not on the couch this week because Matt got shamed off the couch because the award for like most substantial dramatic drop goes to Matt Campagna, who went from what place were you in last week?
Third. Every week, third.
Consistently third to second last. He did not get 1 point last night, so that's why
I did
trying to
not
say
have
I-
a single character on screen last point.
Matt didn't have a single character.
So I bumped Matt off the couch. Essentially.
You bumped
You
Matt
did.
off the couch.
You
Thanks,
did.
buddy.
It's cozy. How's that seat? Rigid? Yeah, enjoy.
So I've been pretty consistently top position, but this
Yeah.
week I was bumped out by the one and only
By
Wendy
me.
Fox.
Yeah.
Because Wendy Fox picked the Night King.
And the Night King killed a freaking dragon.
yeah.
Oh, big
So that's deserved.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I don't know if another dragon's gonna die at
in
all.
this season. I don't know.
Certainly not this season.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But, I mean...
It's worth it.
Yeah.
That draft pick is worth it just for those points.
Yeah, and I didn't know that would actually be a thing. Like, I didn't know they would... I mean, they kind of knew they would kill a dragon and bring it back to life. But...
Yeah.
You didn't really... I don't know. I didn't know it was going to be the Night King. I just knew he was going to be a bad guy at some point.
Yeah, well, it paid off.
Yeah.
See,
Good choice.
I have a question though.
Yeah,
Not a
let's
question,
do
just
it.
like a theory. I think I might have mentioned it last night. That was a pretty crazy when the Night King threw that spear, that super ice spear.
Yeah.
So why didn't he chuck that at those dudes standing on the rock?
So
They
we
could've
have we
saved
actually
for 3 days worth of I
Yeah.
don't know, just anticipation. Like
So we have a theory about that. We were talking about
Oh, yeah.
earlier.
So here's my
Wendy
theory
has
about
a
that.
super cool theory.
Here's my theory about that. So you know how when when John killed that like White Walker with the blue eyes, that all of his like zombie friends all died.
Yes.
So
the whites all died that are attached to that White Walker.
Yeah. So they'll all die if they're attached to the Night King, because the Night King made all of them, right?
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
So what if the Night King is controlling these people while Bran is controlling everyone else? We've already seen him be able to like play with time and
controlling
do that,
humans.
like humans, like people who don't have blue eyes.
Sure.
Could be. So
That's
then
what I thought.
ultimately the war is between
Bran
and the Night
And
King.
they're like the Dungeon Masters or whatever. You
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Which is why he's not
But
around.
then couldn't Bran make those guys fight the other guys?
Listen,
But I think
He's just quietly standing down and then fight later.
I think it's because he went north of the wall. It's kind of like a nobody like don't cross this line kind of
Got
thing.
it.
Right.
And then when Bran went off the wall to meet the Three-Eyed Raven and was marked by the Night King,
Yes,
the Night King knew where he was. We can go after him and get him.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's possible.
you're saying that basically all of the characters that we're watching have no free will and they're just being manipulated by Bran? Is that the idea? Or
Kind of.
man,
That would be a crazy.
that would be crazy. I don't
Like-
know how
I need to sit after that.
I feel like
Kinda.
I sort of feel like D.B. Weiss and David Benioff are, if they watch this, will be like, oh, that's what we should do with the last season.
That's how it makes sense.
That's what we should
There
do.
you go.
Final draft on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, just get into that rewrite.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting theory. I do have a lot of questions around Bran's magic and around, I mean, there's also the idea that the Night King knew, like, how much does the Night King know what's going to happen? Because if the Night King knew that she was going to bring dragons there, or thought she might, he might have just been waiting for a dragon. Like, I think that might have been his
That's how I
goal.
feel. Yeah, and that's what I think. And it's because I heard a lot of complaining about why did he hit that dragon? Why didn't he hit Drogon? Because with all the people and all of his enemies on it. And I think, I don't know what the actual explanation is, but I think it might be some kind of connection with Jon Snow. For some reason, I've read a few things about Jon Snow has some connection with the Night King, with who the Night King was before he became the Night King.
Right, yeah.
And so that and also because he is kind of a white, to a certain degree.
Because he's been brought back, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and the Lord of Light, again, like, all the magic surrounding the Lord of Light is also very, like, we don't really know all that much about it.
And I kind of forgot that this season. Like, we haven't really seen much of the Lord of Light this season, especially compared to the previous seasons. Right?
Yeah, where the night was dark and full of terrors all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been a good drinking game in those seasons. Like, every time they say that. So, my question, branching off from this, and let us know what you're thinking if you're watching and you have some theories about the Night King and the dragon slaying of X-Spear. I'm curious about what you thought about how many conversations we saw of this fellowship going out into the... Like, I felt a little bit that the pacing of the episode wasn't great last night. I felt like they rushed some things, and then there were a lot of conversations that... There were some that were really enjoyable. Like, Tormund and the Hound are always gonna be...
I love Tormund.
The most fun, right? But I felt like a couple of them were... I just felt like it was a lot of just chatting. Was I the only person who felt that?
No.
I feel this season, and tell me if I'm way off, it's been really playful. Like, I feel like things have happened so quickly.
Yeah.
People have moved from A to B so fast. Storylines have to advance so quickly.
It's true, yeah.
That their way to kind of maybe gloss that over your eyes is some jokes, some fun. And there's a lot of fun this year. Even like that we thought you'd still be rowing, that comment. Like,
Davos
it's almost for the fans, right?
Yeah,
So all of a sudden you have all these unique characters that you'd never imagine being with one another. And it's like, let's mix it up.
Cool.
And I also think and this is just maybe, because they made it seem like they had to travel a far distance, they kept coming back to them talking and coming back. They got to move the camera, shoot a different piece of snow.
Yeah.
Make it look like they're going further. So I think that was, they just played with having all these unique people who you never see together. And it was fun. I thought the payoff, although the pacing did feel funky, I agree.
A little bit,
I was happy to see them together, like having the Hound and...
the Hound and Tormund were great.
Like,
I felt like some of the combos, some I felt were just better than others. Like, I feel like Jorah and Jon had to have that moment about the sword, although I'm going to gripe for a second. Because I have Jorah moment, if you watch the show, you know I'm obsessed with him, I love him, he's on my roster. I really wanted him to take that Valyrian steel. I was like, yes, these are points that I just hand me points. Just give me. And then he was like, no, I'm going to have honor and like, and also tease this whole idea of Jon having a kid. And then Dany talks with Tyrion about how she can't have kids. Which like, okay, I get it. It's like Jorah doesn't get to have.
That scene was such an honor off. It's like, here, I must give you this sword. No, I must not take it. It's like, come on, you guys. Just somebody sit in the chair. Like,
yeah, the great honor off.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the conversations needed to happen because there were things that needed to be addressed, right? Like Jorah needed to see that Jon had his family sword.
Yes. Oh, right? That one was so necessary. Yes. Yeah. And there was Beric and Jon. That was also a really important combo.
Yeah. And like things like needed to happen, but it also felt like I would have really liked to see what's happening elsewhere in Westeros at that time.
Yeah.
Or even in Essos. Like we haven't.
Yeah. Well, what's happening in Essos is like, I mean, do you think that Cersei actually is going to have mercenaries there for next episode? Has she already deployed that? Has she already?
I think she may have. Yeah. She already got the money back from the loot train episode.
That's right, yeah. And the bank was like, Tycho was just ready to
give her whatever she wanted.
Yeah. Yes, to lend her whatever resources they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I've read a lot about people having a lot of different feelings about how quickly this season is moving and also the funky pacing of things. Let's talk a little bit about, let's switch gears a bit and talk about Sansa and Arya. Because what's happening in Winterfell is like, I want to have a clearer sense now of what people want there. Like, I get that you're trying to tease it out, Weiss and Benioff, but it's like, okay, I think it's testing our patience now in terms of like, we need some kind of movement. Like, I don't know, what do we think, what do you all think is going to come of her giving her that dagger? Like, what's going to come of Sansa and Arya? What's your predictions there?
I'll be disappointed if this isn't at least one of them having a long game and realizing this is Littlefinger.
Me too.
Because otherwise it's just like, you guys are really underwritten, or like, you know, you're not meeting the potential of what your characters have grown through.
Yeah.
It's super frustrating. And it's like, you know, have a talk. Like, drink some wine, have a talk about your experiences and realize what you've both gone through, because they've gone through so much. And they vaguely talk about how much they've gone through, but they don't say specifically.
It's contrived. I feel like that way of them talking now so much is contrived.
Yeah.
And why is Arya still there? She went back to see Jon. She's not having fun with Sansa. Like,
yeah.
Either go find Jon
Absolutely.
or go kill
Absolutely.
Cersei.
Or
what
kill.
Is she doing?
You have a lot of other. Didn't she have a bunch of people still on that list?
She had.
Well, Baelish is on that list, so maybe she's just. I thought he was for a time.
I don't think he is.
He's not.
He'd be dead if he was on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I just don't get why she's waiting. I don't understand why she's waiting to do something. Like, it doesn't make sense for me that she's such an action-oriented character, and then she's just having these awkward conversations.
Like, is she waiting for Jon to come home?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But like,
for what purpose though? Yeah.
But do you even care anymore? Like,
I do.
I'm out on.
Are you?
I feel like
okay.
We all know what the main action is. It's, you know, the Magnificent Seven heading up north, doing their thing. The whole, the conquest of the throne with the sidebar of the, the supernatural element.
Right.
Bickering back in Winterfell, I've kind of like, unless they can make Littlefinger a true villain, and right now it's been such a slow burn.
It has been a slow burn, yeah.
And I feel like they need to be able to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But we've waited so long for these two to come together again, and they established this relationship in the first season, and they've gone through so much. It's like it's going to be really disappointing if one of them kills the other one, or if
I agree. I totally agree.
And I don't think that'll happen. I don't think they'll kill each other.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably kill Littlefinger.
I think so too.
I hope so.
Yeah. And I will say, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I will say to your point, Chris, like, I think what's happening for me on the show is, yes, there's all these big moments with the battles and the supernatural element, but I find, like, without the touchstone of the personal relationships and how they resolve, I start to get pulled out of what's happening. Like, the stakes for me are also in the relationships I've invested in, right? Like, so for me, it's like, I still care what happens in Winterfell to a point. I mean, obviously, yes, at the end of the day, what happens in Winterfell is only a small piece of, and kind of irrelevant once things really, all hell breaks loose, right? But I still want that resolved in a satisfying way, I think.
Cool.
That's me.
Good.
I want to
see some butts being kicked. I want to see some dragons eating people.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Cool.
Oh, this little scroll I found.
Online, we've got Aaron Thompson, of course, saying, but still only 10 wit points for Tormund, and again, none for Tyrion.
Tyrion, okay.
Yeah.
So
we need to talk about Tyrion.
David and Aaron, just to give you everyone who's watching some context, David and Aaron they picked Tyrion. It was one of their first picks. Because Tyrion in past seasons was a killer point machine. It was like wits, drinking, sex, like everything. And he's gotten no points total.
Yeah.
Or like 5, maybe like 5
all
points.
season.
All season.
Wow.
But like in the first 4 seasons, or maybe first 4.5 seasons of the show, he was always sleeping with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had
one sexual contact
thing since Shay in
well, maybe his heart was truly broken.
Yeah, but I think because that had happened to him before, I would like to see Tyrion get some action again.
I'm all for that. I feel like Tyrion is getting it's a hard season for him. He keeps making really terrible choices.
Yeah.
Unfortunately he's being outmatched by his sister and by Jaime. He's trying really hard to strategize, but he's not really doing well.
But there's working Tyrion and there's chilling Tyrion.
Right.
Tyrion's at work right now. You know, he's plotting this thing. If you go back to last season when they're chilling in Essos while Dany's away, he was getting drunk and hey guys, let's all part. It's chilling Tyrion, but. Especially now that he's screwed up a few times.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the first drink we've seen in a while that he had with Varys, which was a fucked up drink. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So,
that's true.
Yeah, but having 10 points is insane. I feel like there's been moments where he's been sassy that maybe he just didn't get.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that.
Very subjective.
Our throne.
I feel the same way about sometimes you might see someone's elbow bringing a drink up to their mouth, and you know that they're drinking something, but you don't get 5 points, and then maybe you get hooked up later.
Maybe it was just like smelling bouquet. Maybe it was just.
I mean, you did.
No.
It wasn't Dornish. Maybe at the end of all the other wine is terrible except for Dornish wine.
This was what's this swill?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I think Tyrion is just not a wartime consigliere. He's just not.
Yes.
He is good at. He is a good city manager. He's really good at keeping the peace, but he's just not. He doesn't have the strategy.
And Blackwater. I mean,
he had
but
that
he
one.
had help with Blackwater too.
And he wouldn't have won unless his dad came in the end.
Tywin kind of Deus Ex Machina that.
That's why I think Tyrion's going to be Prime Minister at the end of the show.
Yeah, Matt's theory is that Tyrion becomes Prime Minister or whatever that appropriate.
And that Dany breaks the wheel, and there are no kings.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about Dany breaking the wheel.
Because what I did like about Tyrion was he calls her out on we have to break the. First of all, it was mainly about succession and about who's going to take after you die. When you go off on your dragons and go fight White Walkers, but she balked and she doesn't want to really change it. And she's really not made any effort to say what this new wheel is going to look like.
Agree.
And he's calling her on it and saying, what do we do after you die? How is this going to be any different? And she shuts him down. Soon as the scene starts with praise for him and you're my friend and I don't want you to get hurt, and then ends with, you keep screwing up and I'm not listening to you anymore.
Well, and I think it shows, for me, the frustrating thing about Dany this whole season is I think in the same way that Tyrion's not a wartime consigliere, I don't know that Dany is actually a good ruler when it comes down to it. I think she's a great conqueror. I think she inspires people. In some ways, I feel like I'm describing Justin Trudeau, but I feel like she's good at winning the affection of her people. But then, I don't know, she seems really lost, which in some ways I think is an interesting story, an interesting narrative idea and a character idea. If she can come back from that and actually, take advice from people like Tyrion and consider, to me, the fact that she won't consider who her successor is, that she won't have that conversation is bonkers.
If only there was some ice to combat her fire.
Aaron is saying that Tyrion needs some work-life balance. He needs to get some action, and he did get 5 points for drinking last night.
Oh, good.
Lynn is saying that Arya should have been way too smart to fall for this Littlefinger plot. It seems out of character. And Aaron's asking, why do you think Arya gave Sansa the dagger?
Yes, this is a good question. I think it's a weird kind of test. I think either what's happening is somehow Sansa's gonna understand the Baelish thing, and like if Arya's trying to plant some kind of seed, or I actually think it was some weird reverse psychology trust thing. I don't know. Like, that's my hope, because I really can't think of any other reason she would do it other than the fact that maybe Arya's just losing her mind. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're just like, she's just so dissociative now that I can't tell. It's such a perplexing. It's such a perplexing story. She does have a bag of faces. She's facing. Like, she's crazy. I shouldn't say crazy, but she's dissociative, and like that's kind of awesome when she's killing the people you hate. But it's also legitimately like worrisome. So maybe they're actually wading into that territory, which is also kind of cool. Yeah. Right? Like, if they take it with some gravity, I don't think that's a bad thing. I just want her to kill someone so I get more points. I'm so selfish about it. Get back to work, assassin.
You started so good.
That's right. That's right.
And apparently, Aaron is saying that Littlefinger is not on Arya's list. She's checked, she checked the internet.
Thank you for checking. Yeah, because I wasn't sure.
And Lynn is saying that Dany might just be finding that being a ruler during peace is very boring.
Yeah, for sure. It's totally boring.
For sure. I think that's one of the reasons she has Tyrion around.
Yeah.
Keep it violent.
Well, and I think she's like, there was that moment like when they were sailing off last night in last night's episode, and she was waiting because she was sad about Viserion and about Jon potentially being dead. I mean, they thought he was dead. But it was also, I felt a moment of her being like, give me a minute before I have to go to King's Landing and carry out this weirdo plan with this woman who's this loose cannon. Like, the way Cersei's been described to her, and I feel like she legitimately feels the weight of how scary actually trying to win this war is.
Yeah, and now they're in boats going to King's Landing.
Instead of dragons.
So, like, this is where Euron's gonna get them all.
Yeah, Euron is definitely, I think, gonna be back next episode
to wreak havoc. I think he's gonna really destroy this plan.
Yeah, well, there's that shot in the trailer of Theon on the shore.
Oh, yeah,
like,
being
devastated.
Like, no!
So maybe that's because Yara... I mean, I'm pretty sure Yara... Again, I hope Yara bites it in a memorable way, so I get points. But yeah, I think that's part of it. So talking about this whole the sensical nature or nonsensical nature of things, how do we feel in the long run about the plan? Last week we talked a lot about how this plan to go capture a white from, like, why did they do this? Why didn't they take dragons? Like, how do we feel now that the episodes happen about how smart or not smart this plan was? I mean, in the end, they succeeded, but they lost, they lost out as well, right? They lost people, and it was a sacrifice in some ways.
Mathematically, they lost 2 dragons.
Well, and they gained one. Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
They're down. They're down. Yeah. I don't know. Do you think it was a good idea in the end, or do you think it's...
I think the way that I think it will work, if it's going to work, is that the person that is going to be swayed by this is not going to be Cersei. It's going to be her brother, Jaime.
Yeah, Jaime. Yeah.
And then that's how this is going to end. I think from a story perspective, I feel like it's like, we talked about this before, that the White Walkers are this allegory for, like, climate change or all these things.
Right.
And it's like the idea that the world still does not believe it, or there are people who still will not believe it and won't believe it until you take it, and until you see, like, the shoreline of Florida, like, getting enveloped, or a glacier going down, the St. Lawrence River or something like that. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're just trying to take that allegory and just push it through this way.
Right.
But in terms of a plan, in terms of like a heist plan or whatever, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
No, like, it's so ripe for a trap, right? Like, Cersei probably knows they're coming. Like, they're gonna get trapped.
She's also biding time, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Jamie's basically said, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
So anything that's not them coming and roasting them is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you want to meet?
True.
Great. You want to talk about this thing? Let's talk.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Gold Company, get over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very smart. It's a smart strategy in that respect, for sure, right? On Cersei's part. I think my question is more around, like, Jon in all of his fervor. I mean, I love Jon Snow's fervor, but I feel like, is that gonna, like the Starks before him, you know, how much trouble is that gonna get him into? I wonder. I mean, he's also a Targaryen, so we'll see, but it's, it seemed, also, can I just say, I need to point this out, because I don't understand. So I loved all the stuff about the ice and the effects are amazing. And if you get a chance to go online and watch the HBO behind the scenes of how they shot this episode, it's amazing. Like different locations that were north of Eastwatch. It's amazing. But I can't believe that they got to that middle part and then they were there for like days.
Or one day, like
it seems like it was at least
we
did the geography. So Matt and I spent a bunch of time this morning over breakfast figuring out the geography because in season 1, this is how much it was like. What in season 1, Robert Baratheon talks about how they've been riding for a month from King's Landing to Winterfell. So it's going to take on horseback and some people on foot about a month to go from King's Landing to Winterfell. So we were like, what's the related distance? We're in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, if you're watching us from elsewhere. And so we were like, what is that equivalent? So from here to Vancouver, that's how it would take you 30 days if you never stopped to walk from Toronto to Vancouver. So that's the distance we're talking about just to Winterfell. So to Eastwatch, it's even, so it's like, and from Dragonstone, like it's all pretty far. And so it's a long time. Like, even how fast did Gendry run? Like, he was like, Gendry's the fastest. You're the fastest runner I know. I just met you. But you're the fastest runner I know. There were a lot of things that I know they got to go quick because they have so much to resolve. Yeah. But sometimes I feel like I'm being really pulled out by how many questions I have around some of the stuff. Yeah. That's all. Yeah. How do you, like...
my big question this week is, what is the ice dragon going to breathe?
Yes. Is it ice? Is it fire? Is it like blue fire?
Blue fire? Is it going to freeze everything or burn everything?
Lightning. Godzilla lightning.
Matt thinks it's lightning. Let us know what you think. Does the new Viserion, Viserion 2...
blow hot or cold?
Blow hot or cold?
I think it would be too easy if it's fire because he'll just
fire
melt the wall.
Fire.
Yeah.
And himself. It's the only thing that can destroy a White Walker.
Yeah.
If he blows it out of his mouth, he'll die.
Exactly. Pat Ollinger was telling us, just to, because I noticed Pat commenting on my feed, that there is a theory that the Night King was a Stark.
Yeah.
So that's the theory that maybe that someone was chatting about. That they're connected in some way. Yeah. Which, you know, I think for me the most interesting thing is watching how the magic works. Like, what are the limits of this magic? What are the limits of the Night King's capabilities? What are the limits of Bran's? I just feel like I want to see more of that. I'm really fascinated. Where was Bran during this whole battle?
Or like Barrack's like, sword fire!
Yeah, what's up with that? What is that? How much magic can he do with that sword? He can obviously, we said, cauterize wounds. He can't keep his friend alive. Do we want to call some bullshit on the fact that Thorismir didn't die from a bear mauling him, but then died of exposure? How did we feel about that?
Well, he was pretty pickled when it happened. You know what I mean? So, wait till he freezes over. But listen, hey, that beautiful 50-point magic.
You love
50
it.
Points?
50
yeah,
I love it.
Every
the
day.
real big question is, what's Beric Dondarrion doing next week? I hope he's chilling with those guys. Well, you need a sword? Woof. What's up? That's what I want to know.
Are they on the boat with Dany and Jon?
They said there was a goodbye, so I think Beric is gone. I mean, there was.
I feel like they're either at Winterfell or they're at Eastwatch. I feel like they're still in the north, aren't they?
I feel like they're getting on the boat probably to go back to King's Landing.
King's Landing.
Or meet the group to go to King's Landing.
Right.
But there was a goodbye between
the Hound and Beric, and that was an amazing moment. Can we just talk about the beautiful bromance that is building between those two, where he's like, I hope we see each other again, and the Hound's like, I fucking hope not. Like, the Hound has no time for it. I've grown to really love the Hound.
Is he going south now to see his brother?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so Matt's very excited.
Are we gonna get Clegane Bowl?
Because apparently, from what I've seen online, people aren't expecting full-on Clegane Bowl, but they are expecting that the Hound and the Mountain will have some kind of meeting in the next episode.
I
Right?
really hope so.
Matt has the mountain, and he's been very upset.
The mountain has done nothing.
The mountain has
Yeah.
done nothing.
He's barely menaced.
So yes, he's kind of just been like a background performer, just kind of standing there. I don't even know if it's the real actor. They were just like, don't bring the real actor in.
Just bring the cardboard cutout. He doesn't move either. So.
He's realistic.
Lynn is asking, if Cersei is so single-minded, how do you think she's going to react to seeing the white?
Good question. How do we think that Cersei's going to react to seeing the white?
I think she's going to dismiss it.
I think so too.
Yeah. And she has the mountain, so it's not like she hasn't seen crazy undead things before.
Yeah, Qyburn's around, so he's crazy.
Yeah, he can explain it away.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Cersei is so outside of herself. Like, she's so, as you say, singular in her focus and myopic in this whole thing, where she's only looking out for the Lannister legacy and screwing over the people who screwed her over.
Yeah.
And you can't win a war that way. Like, that she's gonna lose that way. I think that's obvious. It's just how does she lose, and how many people go down because of it? I don't know.
And I think she's not an ally is not what she's going to use the walkers as, but she's going to use it as a piece of something to barter with, essentially, because essentially they've not done anything because they're waiting on Cersei to join them. She's got the hand, right? So, like, what is she going to do? How is she going to play this hand, right? Like, say, yeah, that sucks. They're coming. They're going to get you first. What are we going to do?
And Cersei has the scorpion, and the idea that she could tip that with dragonglass is kind of the only thing, other than 2 other dragons, that have a chance of taking out Viserion.
But does anybody else got wood and rope and can make another scorpion? Like,
Qyburn made it sound like it was a big deal.
But it's not magic.
Yeah,
like, Qyburn...
It's a big crossbow. I mean... Couldn't Gendry make one? Couldn't Gendry make this big crossbow?
Yeah, I think Gendry could make probably an
beautiful
even more sophisticated thing if you actually let him be a blacksmith, which is what he is.
I kind of wish he was wearing his, like,
a track star. Yeah, I kind of wish so too.
Now, we also have some what the dragon breathes questions going on here.
Okay, great.
Aaron Thompson thinks maybe the ice dragon will breathe fire on Jon, and he will be okay in the fire, which will reveal his Targaryenness.
Maybe.
And Lynn thinks maybe whatever the dragon breathes is some kind of magic that turns people into whites.
Oh.
Say that again? Who's the magic?
That Viserion, like, breathes White Walker juice on people.
turns people into White Walker juice.
Ooh.
I wonder what color it is. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, here's the thing. I'm curious to hear what you all think and what you all think out there. How quickly, like, we had a big chat yesterday about you thinking that maybe next episode Daenerys takes the Iron Throne, and I was like, how quickly do we think things are gonna evolve into just a fight between ice and fire?
You know, I initially thought, banking on the 2 seasons, thinking this is the season they resolve the human conflict.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the next season will be the supernatural conflict.
Right.
But I feel like it might just switch. It might just... I think that the human conflict will be some kind of byproduct of what happens in this great war.
Interesting,
between the White Walkers. I personally, I think what you're going to see is Cersei just say whatever they give them, whatever lip service they need, while she makes a plan B. And I got to say, what I really do like about this season is at the beginning of the season, Cersei didn't look like much of a villain, like a foe. Like, they didn't have much going for them. They didn't have any allies. This whole... whoever, people to the left, people to the right, everybody hates our face.
Yes.
What are we going to do? And then she made all these moves, all these strategic moves to really get far ahead.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it made her look like a real villain, like someone who could actually maybe beat Dany. Just because she keeps outwitting Tyrion or whatever their strategy is.
Yeah.
So I think that's all she's got, is being 3 steps ahead of them. So whatever you're going to see next week isn't the end game. I think it's whatever crappy plan she's going to make to stay in it. Because I think it just takes a snap of the finger for the dragons to come in and eat their faces. Right?
So at the same time, Dany's storyline has been sit and wait it out and listen to the clever plans and just do those things. But the only time she ever succeeds is when she's a dragon, when she just goes and does it. So now these two forces are going to meet, and now it's the end of their stories. It's the end of their kind of arcs for this season.
Yeah.
And what she's hopefully what Daenerys has learned is I'm a dragon, so I should just be a dragon. I don't see how she doesn't go into that meeting saying, "You're giving me that throne," or "I'm sicking these dragons on that castle." I don't see any other way, like, because already Tyrion has cautioned her, my sister's a little, she's prone to saying little, violent things.
Yeah, right.
Just keep it cool. And it's like, she's not going to keep it cool. She's going to say, "This is my kingdom. Give me that throne."
But hasn't she agreed to come there in some kind of peace, like in some kind of...
They have both agreed.
They both agreed to be chill for this meetup. Otherwise, there would be no meetup.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you think she's just going to be like,
well, how quickly,
screw that,
roast
them.
How quickly will it devolve, I think, because that's what Tyrion was saying. Like, because I think they are both technically sort of going in this truce mode. But both of them, in their own ways, are terrible at anybody else having power around them. Like, neither one of them are good at that. In their own ways. Like, Daenerys for her reasons and Cersei for hers. But, so I feel like I don't see how they would ever be in any kind of alliance. Like, I find that really hard to believe because I can't picture either one of them either trusting the other one long enough or sharing any kind of resources. Like, I'm very curious about how it's going to go down.
I agree, yeah.
And how quickly, as you say, it'll become... this is the person who kept saying to Jon, "Bend the knee," so many times. And Jon was a person who was like actually trying to work with her. Yeah. So I wonder, although I think she will be legitimately scared of Cersei. Because Cersei, as you say, is like damn scary. Yeah. Like she's strategic and she's awful.
She's been winning.
She's smart.
Until she became the dragon, Dany. Cersei was winning.
It's true. Yeah. It's very true.
You gotta give some cred. You gotta...
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know though, because I think Dany's lost a lot. Like, she just lost a dragon. She just lost a child, basically. Yeah. So I think she's going to be in a mindset of, enough of this. Like, we keep putzing around, and I'm losing because of it. And now I'm losing things I care about.
Yeah. I guess my question would be then, how much of the Lannister army remains since the loot train?
Yeah.
And because, who else does she have any army? Like...
there are some Lannisters left.
Because some of them made it, right? The money part of the loot train made it in.
Yeah, I think maybe, like, she has I would imagine she has, like, an eighth left, or, like, a quarter left of what she used to have.
But also the Unsullied there's also probably only they were saying, I heard someone saying about 5,000 Unsullied left. Like, the Unsullied also got pretty, in that Casterly Rock battle, they did have to, because then Euron showed up, right? So like, both sides have taken some serious hits now. They're both vulnerable in different ways. It'll be very interesting because they have really been on this interesting sort of parallel trajectory, right? Of mirroring one another and sort of one person operating one way and losing for a while and then the other responding. It's cool. I actually quite like what Cersei brings out in Dany when Dany actually chooses to take action. Yeah. It's interesting.
And Pat Hollinger is suggesting that maybe the producers might have painted themselves into a corner because the White Walkers don't talk, and so that will be boring. Next season, it will be a very quick defeat, and then the Game of Thrones continues.
Yeah, Pat, maybe you're right, that the White Walkers don't say much, so maybe they're boring, and the producers are trying to, like, move past them or integrate them more. So I agree with you, Chris. I thought it was going to be, we wrap up all these personal feuds and conflicts to the point where then we're just, like, dragons and ice zombies, and they go at it. But I agree that I think they're trying to mix it up a little bit. And that there'll be like a reactive thing that happens with the humans. I think there has to be. But I think we're still going to see crazy, epic stuff happen. Let's talk about the dragon
with the chains
coming out of that ice last night with those chains.
That they got at that north of the wall Home Depot.
That they got at the Home Depot.
How did they get the chains around the dragon?
Apparently,
they have to, like, do some deep sea diving.
Yeah, that I don't know. The chains, I've heard some people suggest that they're from Hardhome. That they're like stuff they would have had at Hardhome. Like that's an easy enough thing. Yeah. The Hardhome Depot. That like that.
The Hardhome Depot.
The Hardhome Depot.
Yeah. Hardware.
Hardhome hardware. Yes. Nice.
So yeah. I'm confused about water and white because it was you
Yeah.
had that moment where they were falling in the water, they all stopped, and then they waited like a day, and then it froze, water freezes. Okay, we'll just keep walking over there, and then there are whites popping out of the water. It's like, do they not like water? Do they like water? I was just confused by that.
Yeah, I agree. It was very confusing.
Yep.
It was confusing, and again, I feel like was the Night King just? I feel like the Night King was waiting, and like that's gonna freeze. We'll just wait till it freezes. The interesting thing, though, is that so when the Hound was throwing stuff at the whites, and then he hit that one white who looked like he was wearing like high top sneakers. I feel like that guy turned into a white with high top sneakers on. Anyway, so he hit that guy, and then he missed, and it's interesting that the white was able to put 2 and 2 together. Like it's smart enough to put 2 and 2 together.
I think the Night King saw that.
And you think the Night King then controlled the white's mind? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I don't think
the question is, was the Night King specifically waiting because he had prescience and knew that the dragon was coming? And was like, yeah, this is a good time for me to start the attack. Coincidentally, when the Hound's throwing rocks at dudes. Because otherwise, waiting 2 days, 3 days to attack, when the ice froze, after about 6 hours, is a little bit like, why is anyone doing anything? But again, like Patricia said, the whites don't talk.
Yeah.
We don't really know.
Yeah, it's a good question. How much does the Night King know, and how much can the Night King control what's happening? That's, I think, the question that keeps coming up. And I don't know. I hope we keep getting some info. If anyone knows any other info on that, please let us know.
Is it possible because he touched Bran during that vision?
Yeah.
That now he's connected to Bran's vision? Like, can he see what Bran's seeing? Is that maybe that's what it is?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, they certainly have a connection. How far that connection goes, I don't know. Because when the Ravens were flying over, what was that break? Was that the Night King seeing Bran, seeing him? Was that the Night King connecting to Bran's brain? Like, what was that? There's a lot of different theories on what their connection is. I love the idea that part of the war, or part of the conflict, is like these two minds going at one another. I mean, I don't know how far that will go. I mean, I like part of that.
I really don't like it. I really don't like it.
I don't like it as the final, like, this is the, like, the Saint Elsewhere thing where, like, the whole thing took place in that kid's head. I don't like that, but I like that part of it is the dynamic between their brain magic power.
Right.
That's all.
Hey,
go ahead.
Since we're talking about Bran, I mean,
is
there
for
a reason? I mean, I just have to say this before we're done. Is there no reason why Bran is just saying, "Hey guys, by the way, here's all the shit I saw. Hey everybody, I saw all this stuff. You might want to write this down. Send some ravens.
Right?
Yeah. I'm just gonna chill by this tree for this season."
I think maybe he like wants to tell Jon first before he like lets the cat out of the bag.
We'll just send one raven to Jon.
That makes total sense.
Except for that raven can be intercepted.
By whom?
By who?
Listen, if you have a Baelish near you anywhere, or a Varys near you anywhere, or any of their little birds, I don't know, I guess they don't they don't have little birds anymore.
Well, Cersei does.
Cersei does, Qyburn does. But yeah, I just feel like it's dangerous, right? I think the thing about becoming the Three-Eyed Raven is you start to understand how sensitive the information is, so you can't just tell anybody. That's just my sense, though. I don't know. Bran's also going through some kind of weird... He's turning. Like, he's sort of in transition, I feel, between being human Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah, but he still seems reasonable. Like, when he had his scenes with his sisters, I'm a cripple. I don't need this thing. Here, I'm this new person now. It sounded like he wasn't...
He's not dissociative. He knows what's going on. Yeah.
So, hey, by the way, did you know that Jon is actually...
By
the way.
But that brings up the question of, like, if Bran knows, if he sees or knows more than that, and knows that the information has to be given at a specific time for the outcome to go a certain way, like, I don't know, but that might be why he's waiting.
Yeah.
Well, and on the subject of prescience, whether Lynn is wondering if the Night King had those ice spears ready as if he knew the dragons were coming.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him walking around with ice spears in the past.
Yeah.
We've seen other whites have ice spears, though. There was one of them fighting with a spear at Hardhome.
Right, so, like, yeah, did the Night King know... Again, it goes back to, did the Night King know that that dragon was coming? And was he waiting with those spears for dragons? I mean, seems like a pretty patient guy, the Night King. He's just, like, hanging out.
Have you seen a map of how far John has gone and how far the walkers have gone? Like, it's ridiculous. It's like ridiculous how much they've traveled, and they've so hard home and then mingle.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rocks, a lot of winding trails, I guess. Yeah.
How do we feel about Thoros of Myr biting it?
I think he needed to be he needed to die differently.
You didn't like his death.
I think that the bear should have ripped him in two.
Yeah, I think just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, if he was going to die, he should have died at
But
that
then you
bear.
would have lost points because
I would have got the cauterizing.
You get cauterizing, yeah.
But it was a kind of, Weenie's end, Brr,
Yeah.
And quite honestly, nobody of any real, not that Thoros of Myr was huge stakes, but I thought somebody big was going to die.
I thought Jorah was going to die.
I thought
Jorah
or
Jorah dying.
I thought Tormund
might.
I thought Beric might die. Like, I just thought that.
But even Beric's
not as high stakes. Yeah,
Beric and Thoros were I thought they were the fodder, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
Those two guys.
Yeah.
I was surprised Beric survived. I was going into the week before. I was like, well, I'm going to get 100 points next week because these two are dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Had no idea that Beric was going to survive, and quite honest. They were kind of setting it up for, you can't kill Gendry because I think he has a bigger role in this whole
And he just
thing.
came back, so it would have been weird, yeah.
That would have been weird.
Yeah.
But I thought the Hound or somebody big, obviously not Jon, was going to go.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Davos was actually before. I thought maybe Davos would be someone to go with him and he would die.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. Somebody big has to die, right? Before the season's over?
Yeah, so let's talk about next, who we think might die next episode, because I agree. I think to take us into the next season with so many people still alive would be strange.
Especially for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
We're just famous for killing everyone we
Before
like.
we get too far into next week,
Lynn
thinks that maybe Cersei and Dany can bond over having the hots for their relatives.
They don't know that yet, though, so...
And Jameson Kramer thinks perhaps the Night King can see, three-eyed, what he's saying, haha, and then totally agrees with you guys.
Thanks, Jameson. That's awesome. That's a great comment.
I think Baelish is going to die.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah.
I feel like one of Cersei or Jamie's going to die.
Next episode?
Really?
I do.
I think Cersei's going to live till next season.
I think so, too.
I think you need a villain next season.
Yeah.
Especially if you, he's the sub-villain, Littlefinger.
Well, that's why I say Jamie, maybe. I feel like Euron's going to come in and be like, hey, I just did all this stuff. I'm basically... the only real power that you have is the naval power that she has. She's got a limited land force. She's going to want... And I don't know, maybe what if she decides to say, you know what, it's not your baby, it's not Jamie's baby, it's Euron's baby. What does that do to Jamie? I feel like there's something there in that triangle that hasn't been resolved, and I feel like it has to be.
I was gonna say, I feel like if something doesn't amp up with that triangle, I feel like I'm kind of done with Euron. I don't know what else Euron does, so I feel like Euron is either expendable or Euron becomes a pawn because Jamie starts to, if Jamie believes that the White Walkers are dangerous and wants to support the war against the Whites, if Jamie starts to move even further away from Cersei strategically or anything like that, then yes, there's a really good chance that Cersei will turn on him in a pretty epic way. I mean, I still think Cersei is not pregnant. That is just a manipulative ploy. I do not believe she's pregnant. That's just me.
I think she's
not just me, but there's many people who think that, but that's what I think.
I think she's pregnant, but I don't think that baby's going to live.
Oh, no. I definitely don't think that if she is pregnant, that baby will not live. But I don't think she is. I have a real strong feeling that she is, because she is really turning off. She's starting to go to a darker and darker place. The more power she has, like a great villain, the more powerful she gets, the more she's going to want power and want people on her side, and she'll do anything to get that to happen. We've already seen her do that through the seasons, but I agree there's got to be some kind of... Euron needs another purpose, a bigger purpose, because right now it's just that flirtation.
Do you think it was kind of just convenient that the time that she told Jamie that she's pregnant is the moment where she found out that he was having dealings with Tyrion kind of behind her back?
No, that's why I think it was
calculated.
So
convenient.
Yeah.
That it just feels dishonest. And look, the prophecy's the prophecy, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Maggie Frog, we have no more babies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I really don't think, I think it's all a ruse to to entrap Jamie and get him to do the things she needs him to do, because he was really starting to stray, right? It's very complicated for Jamie. I don't think Jamie dies before Cersei, though. No, I think, in fact, I still think Jamie is the instrument of Cersei's death, ultimately.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
So Brienne is headed down.
Yes, let's talk about Brienne.
Now, Aaron Thompson is so excited that Tormund lived, because now he needs to track down Brienne and make some big babies.
Okay, can I have an unpopular opinion? I know it's unpopular, but I'm going to say it. At first, I really enjoyed this whole Tormund Brienne thing. I thought it was kind of cute, whatever. I really don't like how much we're celebrating. I'm going to be a big feminist for a second. I don't like how much we're celebrating his absolute certainty and desire that he's going to go after her when she has made it pretty plain that she is not interested in him. I just need to say that. I've said it.
Has she, though?
Yes.
Has she?
I think so. I think she is not a person who has given even an inkling that she likes him, and he thinks she has. And I just want to say, from a standpoint of consent, I just want to say that those are the building blocks of some stuff that I don't like. So I'm just putting it out there. I know everybody loves, it's funny, great.
She's married to her sense of duty, right? And her being she's committed to the promise she made to Catelyn Stark. And that's it.
And this would be just some like insensitivity to wildling culture you're expressing right now.
Maybe wildlings don't get it when you look at a woman and smile and wink at her and she gives you the scowl of death and rides away, that means she doesn't want to be with you. So wildlings, take note.
That was Ygritte's
that was
Ygritte's face all the time, and then
but Jon. Okay, so fair enough. Ygritte had that reaction to Jon, but Jon didn't like relentlessly talk about how he was going to pursue Ygritte, and everybody laughed at it all the time. That's all I'm saying. Just putting it out there. I know it's not a popular opinion. I'm just saying it.
I agree.
Give him a chance.
However, love Tormund's like
I do too. Like, he's so endearing and lovely. I feel like I really hope that the story, I hope that that's not like, we don't just keep harping on that same beat. Either he makes a move and she completely goes, no, I told you the first time with my face and my actions that I don't want it. Or, sorry, I'm very active about it. Or it happens and it's consensual and everything's lovely. That's all I'm going to say. And then we can move on.
I think it's sweet how impressed he is by this
I love that.
Incredible woman who, like, if she was a wildling, like, she would be the greatest.
Absolutely. I just think his misinterpretation of her signals is just could be a problematic message. That's all, David.
Well, Aaron is hoping that hopefully there's some flirting and flattery, and then she's into it.
Thanks, Aaron.
Lynn is wondering if there's potential for Cersei to command Jamie to kill Brienne, because
So Jamie Jamie and Brienne, that's going to be very interesting.
That's Jamie's potential salvation from this whole Cersei thing.
Yeah.
Brienne is his way out.
Yeah. Because Brienne and Jamie have real chemistry and real love and stakes there. Like, whatever they are, wherever they exist in the spectrum of friendship and romance and all the all that stuff, that's a true bond there. And Brienne can pierce through the stuff that Cersei makes Jamie do, and the person she brings out in Jamie. So I'm interested, but she's gonna manipulate that for sure.
I don't want Brienne to die next episode.
I really don't want her to die. No, she's so great. She is great. Like, Tormund's love for that, like his respect for her is like totally legit. Like, she's awesome. And really wants to help Sansa and Arya. Speaking of which...
What was Sansa being such a jerk?
What was the deal with Sansa sending her away?
Yeah.
Like, what do we think about that? Like, that was a conundrum too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand that too, because, Littlefinger said, you want to have her close to protect... Was that what Littlefinger said? Littlefinger made comment.
Seemed to say,
she has to protect both of you guys.
Right.
So if one person tries to kill the other or harm the other, she's going to have to step in and make sure both of them are okay. That's what Littlefinger was saying.
Yeah.
And somehow that got interpreted by Sansa, whether it's a tactic or... we can't tell if Sansa is smart or not in these situations, or Arya at this point. Was that a tactic, or was that she interpreted that to mean send her away so I can kill Arya?
I can kill her, yeah.
I mean, I don't see Sansa killing Arya. I find that really I don't know. It's far-fetched to me, but maybe.
I'm going to hope that these girls are just smarter than they're letting on.
I hope so,
and
too.
there's a big plot afoot that is going to bite Littlefinger in the ass. I mean, that's my hope.
Yeah.
Just so there's some rah-rah action. But hey, this is Game of Thrones, right? So I think we need some bad news because there's been a lot of good news.
Yeah, the fans have been really, I feel like there's been a lot of fan satisfaction. Gendry coming back, the jokes you were talking about of like all the fan theories kind of coming back in the writing. But I do think we're going to need some more devastation.
Jameson Kramer thinks Sansa's playing the game and she's going to kill Arya.
Really?
Wow.
Jameson Kramer. I do not agree, Jameson, but we'll see.
Wow.
We'll find out. I hope not. I hope it's Arya killing Sansa. Oh, hey, Matt.
Shame!
Shame!
Shame! I feel like
I'm good.
I feel like Lancel
Delightful.
Lannister.
The service is excellent. Tip your staff.
Yeah, don't
Great
you.
staff.
If it's Lancel you're being, we don't want any of that wine. Don't drink that wine. Don't drink it. Then the boar comes out, and we have a boar come in and kill us all. Anyway, guys,
the neighborhood
flashbacks,
boar.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Nostalgia. So, any other predictions you want to make, or things you want to touch on?
I'd like to touch on who's going to win this
Our draft.
our game. Like,
Oh,
like
man.
1 week to go.
Yeah.
You know, there's some new contenders, and
You
know,
meteoric rise.
just considering what you think might happen next week, which is kind of way out there. Like
Who knows?
they're all going to hook up. Looks like they're all going to meet up. But what's going to happen?
I thought you meant like they're all just
But
going to
it's
sleep in
also
the house.
Like a big orgy.
You know,
King's
consensual
Landing.
though. Consensual.
yeah,
orgy,
consensual.
obviously.
It's
pre-planned.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
I don't
of
know how
course.
much we can count on that. Sadly.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, like, because you had a huge boost.
Woo!
But you also lost a few people.
But I've replaced them with people who don't do anything. So, I didn't even know one of them's names at first. I was like, Tycho, I think he's a servant or a slave. No. The bank.
The other thing, this next episode seems like it's gearing up to be like a lot of talking.
Well, that's typically the big action is the second last episode.
Typically,
That's
yeah.
your Battle of the Bastards, your Battle of Badwater Bay, or
Yeah.
So this is going to be the wrap it up episode. So I don't know how much killing points there's going to be on the table.
Right.
See, I don't know, because last season was when the Sept of Baelor exploded.
Right.
Fair.
The last,
Oh,
can I just say, last season's final episode was incredible. Like, because it was like, it checked off every box. They were like, then we take care of this, then we take care of this, then we take care of this. And I wonder how much of that it's going to be, or how much it's still just laying track for what's going to happen next season.
Right.
I hope there's some substantial things that happen.
Yeah, it's
I
an
feel like
85-minute episode, right?
81
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah.
It's
gonna be
81
so
minutes.
good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Wow,
81 minutes.
Cool.
I don't know. I was looking at our drafts today, trying to conjecture how it'll go, and I feel like Wendy, you're a very heavy North contingent.
Yeah.
So it'll come down to how much time we spend in the North.
I
for
don't
you.
know if we're going to spend a lot of time in the North next week anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of all over, but I have a few people who've really dropped off. So it'll come down to like if Arya, Bran, and Jorah do well for me. If Ghost shows up, which I'm not holding out hope, but I really wanted Ghost to show up. But I don't know. I don't have a great sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Daenerys.
I feel like the only way I'm going to win this league is if she takes the throne, because I get 200 points if she takes the throne.
That's
and it's
true,
the only way I'm going to come back far enough.
David and Aaron think for them, Cersei would have to blow up a church or something for them to win. And Tormund and Brienne would have to have some sweet consensual sex. And the Faceless Man would have to show up and do some magic, because that's their only chance.
Yeah, because you guys have Jack and Hagar, who's like just not been around. I don't know, David and Aaron. We'll see. Because you guys, it's sad. Tyrion has really let you guys down. So I was put up some compassion for David and Aaron in their struggle with Tyrion Lannister. And you, it's all about if the Beric, if Beric has some opportunities to use that sword, you're fine.
I think that buy was pretty definitive. Like, guys, check you later. Like, I'm not a part of this thing.
You think Beric's just gone for
They
now?
said goodbye. Like it seems to me that the Hound is the kind of the handler of the White that is heading to King's Landing.
For sure. Yes.
So see you later. He has to go look in a fire and see what he's supposed to do next.
Right.
Yeah,
I guess. And so to me, it's like, okay, who's going to be at this meeting?
Yeah.
Who's invited to the party?
Yeah.
Right.
And then is something going to shake down at the party? that you can actually effectively score some points on.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because there's going to be a lot of wit and war and comments and drinks.
Speeches and...
Yeah.
I don't know how much action. I mean, just by looking at the trailer.
Yeah.
Whereas the week before, it was like guys with flaming swords, things happening. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, people are going to die. Great.
Yeah.
But this was a lot more like, let's get together.
But there was that scene where it was like the Unsullied all geared up, and then the Dothraki are
Some
coming
wars,
and rushing in.
But they made it clear that in that last episode that when Daenerys comes to the meeting, that the armies will be there.
Yes.
Because they said if anything happens, they're right there. They're going to kick some ass.
Yeah.
So we already knew that, and then they're there, and they showed up.
I hope it happens.
So yeah,
It'll be the best.
maybe something can go sideways, and it's
I know.
and
I
points for
hope
everybody.
So.
Yeah.
I hope there's a
But
big
not me,
surprise.
because I don't have anybody, because Olenna's dead. I don't have any of those good people. You have to understand, that mistake, I had to totally change my draft situation. I got to go off the board now. And I think my next pick was Gendry, and I'm like, maybe Gendry will sit on the Iron Throne, 200 points. I'm taking that guy.
Yeah, Gendry said he's gotten
know.
you points.
A couple of bash
And
heads.
listen, you're not allowed to complain, Beric Dondarrion.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying how it had to change the strategy.
It's true.
Yeah.
So I'm going for the Brotherhood Without Borders. I'm like, maybe these guys will do something.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel, to me, just looking at that trailer,
Yeah.
I think all the main crew are in that meeting. And so I don't think I got much of a shot. I think if you got the main types, you got something cooking.
I don't
You
know.
what
We'll see.
I think.
I mean, I'll take the win.
Yeah,
over-
yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be great.
I think,
Yeah, you guys-
like the
Yeah.
final scene of this season is probably going to be the wall coming down.
Yeah.
And I think the dragon's going to do something to the wall.
Yeah, so I think we'll see Beric again
We'll see
next
Beric during
episode.
that.
He
I
just
think so,
wandered
too.
back
Just
up
being
that
like,
way.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets eaten by the dragon. That's the last thing.
Maybe.
You know,
I think Beric
turns
needs
on
a
his fire
big-
sword and gets eaten, and that's
Yeah.
it. Give me 50 points right
I mean,
before.
whether it
Exactly.
happens this
Love it.
season or next, Beric needs a big epic death. I mean, he's been resurrected so many times. He talked about being ready for death. We got to see it go down, right? So we'll see. I think that's our episode.
I think that, yeah.
Great.
Maybe, okay, I'm going to throw this out
Go,
here.
do it.
If I had to pick, let's all pick a wild card of who's the most, the biggest person who you think might die.
Okay.
I'm going to pick Jorah Mormont.
No!
I'm going to pick him because he's going to
He's
save.
gonna-
I think he's going to have that. It's all been leading to him saving her life.
Yeah,
somehow.
listen, if he dies memorably, I'm okay with it. I'll
Yeah.
mourn. I'll have my period of mourning, and then I'll be okay. He's had a great season, so I would be okay with that.
All right.
That's fair. That's
Okay.
fair. So who's the biggest person we think might die? That's
Yeah.
the question. I think if anyone big is gonna die, I mean, do we consider Baelish not big?
He's big.
I kind of feel.
He's secondary. Let's say Baelish is
I
secondary.
feel like it's almost assured that he's going to die.
Okay, so
Don't
let's
you?
let's put Baelish aside.
Yeah, good idea.
Then I say Cersei. I think if anyone, deep down I think she makes it to the next season, but I think the next major person who's gonna die is I think Cersei. It's tied for me for Cersei and Sansa. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. Oh, Sansa.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sansa.
I think the Hound might die.
Okay.
Oh no!
As long as the mountain gets him.
As long as the mountain kills
I
him.
think there'll be a Hound Mountain thing, and I'm really, really,
It's like a
really
Anglia.
hoping it's happening next episode.
Okay.
Because it's the first time they'll be together in a long time.
It does make sense. Yeah.
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 I feel like my instincts say they're just not killing big peeps this year. It's just like I figured bigger people would die. So I mean, maybe I would say, I think my pick would be Euron. If a skirmish shakes
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
things
That's
go
good.
down.
I could see that happening.
I think Euron is the guy.
That's fair.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, thanks for joining us. You'll find out next week which one of us, or maybe that guy maybe Matt is gonna make it back up from the bottom. Maybe David and Aaron will climb up.
Maybe Jamie kills Cersei
Maybe
and
Jamie-
sits on the Iron
Yeah.
Throne, and then I would win at all.
Yeah, maybe Jamie does everything.
I think eventually he'll do that.
Like if Jamie sleeps with her full nudity, then kills her, then sits on the Iron Throne
And drinks a lot of
eats
wine.
everything,
Eating and drinking.
and then kills a dragon.
and then
Yeah,
kills a
yeah.
dragon. Matt will be the winner of our
Yeah.
league.
And we have a prize for a special winner.
We have a prize for a special
Whoa.
winner. So you'll if you join us again next week, you'll see that, and you can let us know what you think, what predictions. Drop in the comments. Let us know what you predict, and then next week we'll see how everybody's predictions stacked up.
Yeah.
Season finale.
Woo!
So exciting! Thanks for joining us on Couch of Thrones, everybody. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thrones, yeah. Couch of Thrones, yeah. Couch of Thrones. Fucking Couch of Thrones. Fucking Couch of Thrones. Fucking Couch of Thrones.